Welcome back to another video. My name is Abby and welcome to those of you who are new to this channel. Thank you for watching this video. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and click the subscribe button. And if you like this video, like it. It really will help spread this information and share it with somebody you think it will help. So what we're talking about today is the man, the myth, the legend, Neville Goddard's law of assumption and what could be happening that's blocking you from really maximizing that law and bringing it into your life. First thing you have to understand is the entire law of assumption. What that means is assuming the wish you have, the desire you have is happening right now. Assuming and living by that truth. Living, you could say, as if you were that. Being as if it were already in your outside experience, because all the outside is a reflection of your internal beliefs. So you're assuming that that internal is already being seen on the outside. The one thing to understand here is that your life right now and in the future is run by assumptions. What you need to understand and ask yourself is, are you a slave to these assumptions, or are you the master of these assumptions in your life? These assumptions can be anything. You can call them beliefs, right? You could believe that you're not capable of making $100,000. You could believe that you'll never really be in a fulfilling relationship. You could assume, by contrast, that you are capable of being a millionaire. You could assume that you have the ability to own your own home, or you could believe that you are never responsible. You could have the assumption you do not have the responsibility needed to own your own home. Assumptions rule your life right now, and you're either a slave to them or you're the master of them. So once you understand now that how a law of assumption works, and that no matter what you're doing in your life, no matter how you're living, if you're enjoying it, if it's where you want to be, if it's not where you're wanting to be, the assumptions that you have right now are what is keeping you there or has put you there. So what you need to see is, if it is right now that you are not where you want to be, totally okay, you need to think from your dreams. You need to think from that desire. You need to think from that goal. Now, what do you mean from? Oftentimes you hear people say, okay, I'm going to dream of it. I'm thinking of my dreams. Now think about it. You know, a physical example of this. If you're looking at something, you're thinking of it. It is outside of you. It is outside of your experience. Now, if you're inside that experience, thinking from it, you know what it feels like. You know how you think. You know what you'll do. You know your behaviors because you're inside that reality. Going back to quantum physics, saying that every reality of you right now that could possibly be exists now. So that's you being a millionaire. That's you having that relationship. That's you reaching those goals in your career. That's also you falling on your face, maybe not even able to live on your own, having to move back in with somebody, or none of these are wrong. These are just realities. These are just possibilities. There's no shame in them. There's no blame in them. There's no negative at all. They're just realities. If you think about it this way too, you think about a character in a movie, okay? You could be playing the CEO boss. You could be playing, you know, the lead character, the one that, you know, everything great happens to. Or you could be playing the character that, you know, nothing ever quite works out. There's always something that comes up. You know, I'm sure you've seen those movies. It's like, oh, things are really coming together. You know, you finally got in the house, you finally got the job, and then the company goes bankrupt or something like that, right? So what character are you playing? Because our personality is essentially a coping mechanism that we have developed so that we get loved, appreciated, and get our needs met. And so you have to understand that, okay, that's a reality. That is a truth. And that also means that since you learned this, you can unlearn it and change it and adapt it and adjust to get it outside of you what you wish to desire. Now, the other thing to understand is you think about law of attraction, right? You think about law of assumption. You're wanting to bring your dreams into your reality. What you think about and how you feel, also how you act, are going to be what calibrates you to whatever station, whatever reality it is that you're wanting. Are you wanting to be that role of having a really nice house, having a great relationship, having financial abundance? Or are you inside giving off those signals that life is hard? Things never work out for you. You never meet the right person. Something's wrong with you and no one can ever love you. Those are all assumptions. And when you start to realize that you can let them go, you can actually surrender them. I have a video about surrender. You can surrender them, give them back, get something else new, try that on, see how you like it. These are all assumptions you get to choose. You just need to realize that you are making these assumptions. And once you do that, then you can have these huge impacts in your life. So, and from my own experience, I have absolutely felt the incredible power of the law of assumption. So when I was in college, I did athletics. I threw the shot put. And I was not very good at that time. I had had peaks and valleys and successes and failures and all that sort of thing. I really wanted to compete for the US on a world-class level. At that time, anyone you asked would have been like, that is not gonna happen. Everything I was showing in my external world was not exhibiting that, but there was something inside of me. And I heard someone say once that before you ever reach that level, you have to be that person. That was the first time I ever saw this idea, ever heard it. And I thought, oh, interesting. So you have to walk that walk. You have to step into the track. You know, I threw, so step into the ring. Already having experienced that inside so many times. So when you actually do it in the physical world, it's not a big deal in one way because you've practiced so many times. You've assumed it so much that it is real. Anytime I got a performance or I got a mark that did not match that assumption, I did not accept that to be real. I thought, okay, give me another shot. Give me another practice throw because that is not me. I had identified with my assumption and I accepted that to be true. Nothing else was true. So I rejected anything that didn't match that level. And that allowed me, I stepped into the ring with US on my jersey so many times before I actually did in the World Championships. So going from that, it was not this slow, steady, you know, on the outside it was, but I went from assuming, okay, I'm assuming that I'm not a great athlete. I assume that I'm world-class level. And there was no negotiating with me on that. That was truth. That's what I believed. I didn't care what anyone else said. That's what I was going to do because it was inside me and it wanted to come out. And it did. I was able to represent the world. I was able to represent the US at the 2008 World Indoor Championships because of the law of assumption. So a huge question I have right now for you is, what do you give consent to and what do you accept to be true about yourself? Because that right now is your life. If you've accepted it to be true that you'll just never have what you want, if you've accepted it to be true that you just will always struggle with money, if you've accepted it to be true that you will always be in a very loving and fulfilling relationship, if you've accepted it to be true and given your consent that you will have financial abundance, what is it that you have given your consent and accepted to be true about yourself? What is that? When you start getting to those answers, you'll really start unraveling what is keeping you in your present situation right now that you either desire and you can understand what is working or what is not working and what you wish to surrender and give back and try on something new. So the biggest block from the law of assumption is uncontrolled imagination. When you don't control what your imagination is doing, worry is imagination, anxiety is imagination. Sure, there could be some things in your life that, okay, historically these have happened. You might think, oh, I'm going to project those into the future, but all you're doing is using your imagination. If you were to use your imagination to assume that those things were taken care of, you could think from a higher level of consciousness, from that future you, from that assumption, from that end, and see how, reverse engineer and go back and see how you figure that out. Einstein says you cannot solve a problem from the same level of mind that it was created. So you thinking about your past problems is going to perpetuate them. You're going to give consent and acceptance to the fact that that is going to be your truth. And it does not have to be. When you assume, when you think from that solution, from that desire, you get to look back and reverse engineer it, and then you can see your path to get there. You can see how you're going to do it. So that big block is when you let your imagination go crazy. When you are worrying about this, thinking about that, what if that goes, what if this happens? Oh man, I've always done that. How will I break free from this? That is your imagination. And when you allow it, just like a fire hose, just unmanned, unpersoned, I should say, man or woman, and it's just flying everywhere, all that energy, all that imagination. it does have a detrimental effect on you, and it is helping to form your assumptions. But when you are able to get that water and really focus it into a laser, you're going to be able to think from that desire. What is it? When you can think about it, Neville says this. He says, the truth that sets you free is that you can experience in imagination what you desire to experience in reality. And by maintaining this experience in your imagination, your desire will become an actuality. So when you're able to hold in your mind from that experience, assume it to be true now, not losing sight of it, not losing feeling of it, it will come into this world. When you allow your imagination to go every which way, when you lack the attention to the feeling that you wish to be fulfilled, that is what blocks you from helping this law of assumption bring and manifest whatever it is in your life. Remember that thing, that the biggest block is your uncontrolled imagination. And when you lose the feeling of that wish fulfilled, and when you don't think from that place, that is when, again, the law of assumption is working in your life, but is not working in a beneficial way to you. So Dr. Joe Dispenza also has some stuff on this, which is your thoughts, the thoughts you're sending out. So again, paying attention to what they are, they're actually electromagnetic. They're sending out signals into the world. So, okay, what is the thoughts you're thinking? Is it the worry from the past that you're going to bring into your life? Is it that assumption that what you're wanting is going to happen, that you've already felt it, you already know what it is, you are practicing every day what it will feel like and what it will be like and who you will be in that role? So electric thoughts are electric, and the strong feeling is magnetic from your heart. You can look up heart coherence on this. That's where I'm getting this, Dr. Joe Dispenza, about heart coherence. But when you send out a thought, sending it out, and you pull it back in with a strong emotion. So you're thinking out there, all the things that you wish to be fulfilled, that end that you have, right? That assumption that this is true. And you bring it back with that gratitude. That is the biggest state of receivership, is gratitude. So if you want something, you basically give thanks before it's even manifested. Again, going back to my example, I'm sure you guys have a lot of examples in your life. My example was not being that great of an athlete, but knowing that I was sending out those signals that was who I was, and feeling that gratitude before it even happened, and it did happen. So this works, and it is working in your life, but most likely it's not working in the way that you want it to work. It's not the experience that you want to. So think about it. What are you giving acceptance? What are you accepting to be true about yourself, and what are you giving consent? Ask yourself, get those questions answered, and that is going to be these blocks, because your imagination right now is going wild. And once you're able to control it, bring it back in, focus on that feeling, and pay attention to where it is you want to go, that will help manifest in your life with the law of assumption. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If so, again, hit the subscribe button. It'll let you know the next time I release another video. If you liked it, hit the like and share it with anyone you think will help. So thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one.